What's up, everybody? This is your boy Youre. It is the 18th of January 2014. How are you all doing? We are in the midst of a 3-day weekend. Some of y'all started with a 4-day weekend. Martin Luther King. I hope that those who are able to celebrate take the time to reflect on what this break stands for. And I'm pointing this out because, Dr. Martin Luther King, as you already know, historically was a civil rights leader. He fought for the injustices in humanity, ultimately paying the highest price, and that was his life. But it was his legacy that he left behind as a template for us all to follow. So I'm sitting here, I got my coffee. Well, I actually made some coffee, but I was out this morning and I stopped and got some coffee, so I'm using the same cup. But I got to thinking and reflecting over this week and all the things that I've experienced thus far, and I had a lot of revelations, as well as I had a continuous blessing. And I'm going to talk about some things, and I just hope that for those that are watching this video have an open mind and just listen to the message, because I believe that it will resonate to us all. But I feel it's been placed on my heart to convey. So first and foremost, how you doing? Doing alright? I hope your week was as stress-free as it was intended. And if you have some challenges, you have courage to navigate with a sound mind, because you're discerning. Your discerning is guiding you. And you may have made some choices that you thought that you couldn't do, but you understand that the justification is the result of the means of the action taken. You're embracing your courage. And therefore, I'm using a little courage right now to convey this to you, because I believe that I'm not the only one that feels this way. So, how you doing? You doing all right? I want to congratulate those who return back to school, and I wish you well and blessings with your education. I was one of them. But just know that the sacrifices that you're making will justify the means in the end. It's the end result. So, it's not in vain. As long as you speak your truth and stand behind your convictions of your steps, you can't go wrong. Nothing. Do you hear what I'm saying? Nothing will block you. It should, if anything, motivate you where you need to be. So have courage, okay? So, I'm putting this out for 2 reasons. Number one, I get an update when I have activity on my channel. And that's why I have a transparent life. I do everything with no regret, because I discern. I stay in prayer throughout my day. That is my navigation on how I make my decisions, and I hold that dear within myself, because that's who I am. And that is one of the reasons why I'm trying to convey this message to each and every one of you. Who you once were is not, that person doesn't exist. That is not the person who is standing right now, that's embracing the experiences being revealed to you. But it is imperative. Heed my word. It is imperative that you take those experiences and gain the insight from it. Because if not, it is all in vain. And guess what? It could be even detrimental to the person that you're going to become. So that's why it's important that you've got to do the work. You've got to do the work. If you're navigating in your life looking for short rewards, you're not going to get the things intended because you're settling. You're not seeing your true potential or worth of who you are. That is why you have your life and your life experiences. So I'm putting this video out because I know that somebody needs to hear what I'm about to convey. Right off the bat, I want to put this out. I want this message to be heard. If you have a child, right, or children, and you're not actively in their lives, you need to look at why you're not there and make a point to get back in their lives. Did you hear what I'm saying? Do not allow the fear. That's right. Fear. Finally, everything's a reality. Because guess what fear is? Fear is nothing but truth without a voice. Whatever has convinced you to embrace that as a reality is holding you back from the things you are intended, the joys, the success that has your name on it. I'm specifically putting this out to my men. I challenge you, my kings. I know there's somebody right now that's saying, you know what? I would give anything just to hear the sound, to smell the scent of my extensions. But know this, you allowing your reality, the externals, to block you from those joys. I know I'm talking to somebody. You probably thinking, well, you know what? I want to be in my child's life, but I can't talk to her mother. I'm going to tell you why you can't talk to her. Because you put a label as a baby's mama. You don't do that. Why? If you're disrespecting her, guess what? Your reality, your environment is going to disrespect her too. But guess what? She carried your seed. No matter what the reason you guys parted, you gave life. She sustained it. She sustained it. That's the greatest gift someone can give another, is life. I know somebody's saying right now, well, you know what? She done moved on, you know, I ain't feeling that. There's some other dude in her life, and I ain't playing back pedal. I'm not playing I'm not being in the shadow. And guess what? This is one thing that I've learned with my boss. And I stand behind this 100%. I will never stand behind or stand in the shadow of another man when I got my own. But here's the kicker on that. That is not your place to judge, because I'm going to tell you something. Ain't nothing more sacred than a child's environment. So if there's a man in your child's life, don't put him down. You need to applaud him. Because 9 times out of 10, he's doing something that you ain't doing. Now, don't get me wrong, my kings. My kings. I'm not disrespecting. I want you to hear this. And no, queens, I haven't gotten to you yet either. But I want to put that in their spirit. Listen here, my man. Let me listen. Because I'm so passionate about this. What you don't want to do is take a position of embracing your ego and your pride. And what happens is, because you couldn't get past what was the breakdown to see the breakthrough, and guess what you just did? You missed out on every moment in your child's life thus far. And now they don't want to have nothing to do with you. They don't want to have nothing to do with you because they don't know who you are. But see, I'm a firm believer of this. Your higher power is unconditional love. He's about balance. He's about serenity. He's about purpose. And what will happen is, he will still make a way when there is none. So what I'm telling you is this. If you're not in your child or children's life, you can't make up for yesterday, but you can damn sure make a point today. Start today. Start today. Because, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, where you once were, you wasn't ready to be a parent. Because you didn't know who you were. And let me tell you something. 9 times out of 10, what divided you, it falls on 2 things. You can't communicate, or the financial responsibility wasn't there. So let's throw that in the mix. If she can't feel emotionally safe in you, why is she going to be around you? Because what you do sets the template for her to be grounded. You see it all the time. You see it in the media. You see it on the talk shows. You can always hear the same story. I was looking for love in the wrong place. Why? Because she wasn't loving herself. And 2 people that don't love each other it can't sustain. It can't. So keep this in mind. Because your higher power loves you so much, he will put you in a position where you get tired of being tired. And he will say, you know what? You're not growing. So I'm going to move you over here. Get you right. And when I think that you're deemed ready, I'm going to bring that back. Because guess what? Because you ain't in their life don't mean that you're not. That chapter's done. I'm going to tell you that, brother. Some of y'all children look like you gave birth to them. Because they look like you. But here's the kicker. Some of y'all can't even talk to your children. And it frustrates you. So you take a position of, I don't want to deal with that drama. She's disrespectful. He's disrespectful. He don't want to hear me. You know what you're seeing? You're seeing the aspects of your personality in your children. Those are aspects of you and the mother. Yes, that's what you're seeing manifested. You know that terminology, chip off the old block? They're talking about the spiritual essence of the child and the parent. So if it's not grounded, it's going to be all over the place. But it's hypocritical when you're not trying to find the solution. And if you're the father, let me tell you something. I've come to learn. I've seen it on different aspects. I've seen it in my life as a child. I wasn't raised by my biological father. I'm named after him, but it was my dad that, even though there were things that he lacked, there was things that he supplied. And to this day, I respect and love my dad, but I adore my father, because without my father, you would not hear my voice. I would not exist. Yes, I know we're all saying, well, we don't have the ability to choose our parents. No. But even if you were from a situation where, mom never married or dad never married, and even if it was situations where your childhood was trauma, it was straight up negativity, it was straight, you're like, I'm surprised social service didn't snatch me up out of here. Let me tell you what you don't realize what was going on. See, every struggle, every tear that fell from your eyes will serve as a purpose in your adulthood. Did you hear what I said? Because those hardships that you had to endure should be templates on what not to do when you are deemed a parent. That is why it's written in the Bible. That's why it's one of the 10 Commandments. Some of you right now, especially you, my queens, you don't like your life the way it is, and you don't understand yourself, and you don't understand why you make the choices that you make. You don't understand why you keep attracting these negative men. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. It's because you are not investing in yourself. You're supposed to sit in virtue, but for some reason society's convinced you, well, if I can't beat them, join them. But whose respect ends up being compromised in the end? Yours. And it's going to continue to be that, if not more intensely, until you do so. So I know there's somebody saying, well, girl, I understand that, but I got kids by this man now. I can't leave him. Yes, you can. But I also know this. Person can't do anything that you won't allow. There's a trade-off in that. That's why there's some women that have this mindset that when God gives you a man that is grounded, that wants to grow and invest in you, you look at him as he's weak. But you'll take that one dude that's rough-edged, and you think in your mind, well, if I can change him, then that's my validation. No, you're lying to yourself, because we don't have the ability to change anybody. That's why we are given free will. Do you feel what I'm saying? You're going to keep getting the same outcomes with the same people. Only thing that's going to change is the faces, but the scenarios are going to be the same. And here's the crazy part. Some of you are so convinced that you've even swore men off completely. How broken do you got to be before you start loving yourself? Because you turn around and say, well, you know what? I'm tired of men cheating and treating me badly. Do you think for 1 second that because you decide to date the away team, that you won't inherit the same problems? We're human beings, but we're spiritual beings first. And let's call a spade a spade. When it comes to cheating, women do it the best. Why? Because you got the gift of nurturement. Therefore, you think before you act. But I also know this. A woman will not step out of her sanctuary unless it is motivated by emotion. That's why emotional triggers are some of your setbacks. Because you think that, well, it didn't work with him, so I'll get Mr. Brand New, only to be set up or set back 5 steps because you allowed what you saw to be titillating and not God, and not from your heart to be stimulating. That's why stoner moments don't last. But guess what will? Them soul ties. Yeah, let's talk about it. He might look good. He might have all the trinkets. He may have them. And he gonna throw them at you to get you. But if you don't see your worth, guess what? You're gonna fall in line like the person before them. Before him. Before him. Before him. And before her. Why don't you see your worth? Why don't you love yourself? What is it going to take? Because trust and believe, there is somebody waking up this morning that wish that they could take back 24 hours ago. There's somebody right now that is in their vehicle driving away saying, why was I so blind? Why? Because they wasn't discerning. That's why we got free will, y'all. Come on now. And here's the ironic part. Why is it that the things that were conveyed by the people that we love does not have no relevance until we're in the midst of something else? Because it was that ego that said, go do that, only to be compromised. I'm telling you, y'all. You wasn't brought on this planet to sell your soul. And every time that you turn around and act out of rebellion, don't you realize that same energy that you put out is going to come back? And when it does, you're going to have to atone for that. And it's not going to be the way that you like. I know I'm talking to somebody. I know I am. I mean, I feel it this way. That's right. I woke up this morning and got me a pack. Because I know somebody, and you say, here it is. Somebody's walking around with this mindset that, no, I'm done. I'm going to go out and get mine. I don't owe the world nothing. The world owes me. And I'm going to tell you what, that's going to be a short road with a big price. See, you don't want to be one of those people that everybody's like, really? Wow. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And that's why I always put out there, leave your spiritual door open. Because if you've got your boundaries in place, the things that you don't need will go. Because you see your worth and you see it. But I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, you know, we're quick to make excuses for the things we do that we know that's not good or in our best interest. And I'm here to tell you, you gonna pay? And God forbid, it be a situation where you get skipped, but it's felt in your child's walk. Because ain't nothing you can do about it. And ain't nothing worse than a parent to see their child suffering and they can't do nothing about it. I know there's a mother right now that's saying, well, you know, Gerald, it's my boys. I love them dearly, but they don't respect me. It goes in one ear and out the other. Well, let me say this to you. Remember when you were there? You were their age? And what did you do? Your parents probably sat you down. Some chastised you. Some used some type of psychological means to get you to see the importance of the message being conveyed. But did it work? No. You went on ahead and did whatever, only to see that there was a setback, because that's usually how it works. See, your higher power will bring somebody to say heed, to let you know, hey, this ain't the way. Why? Because he wants to make sure that you're protected, but because we got free will, that's all he can do. That's why it's not a good look to play with him. He is a jealous and loving God first. But you're saying to yourself right now, well, Joe, what that got to do with my relationship? I love my man. I basically worship the ground he walks on. But he treats me badly. Well, I'm going to tell you what you do on that. One, take a step back and look at what the contributions was to that division. You got to own that. You got to own that. Then, as you're analyzing those things, make a conscious decision if you're going to fix them. Because you got to understand, anything that is worth, that has worth, is going to be some sacrificing in it. You may be required to humble yourself. I know some, because look, we are in the age that, I'm going to call it what it is, my queens. You and I both know, you don't want to hear what a man got to say, you just want him to fall in line. And when it comes to, especially if it's something that's related to you, your first defense is you turn that off. The second thing, depending on how true it is, you will throw the disclaimer out of, you're not my father. And I've come to learn this. How can you truly listen if you're talking? You may miss something important, but it's sender, receiver. That goes for you too, my kings. Because you may have been raised in an environment where your father may have used fear tactics or may have used aggression, and your mother was submissive. Do you realize there was a price that was being paid? For each act of aggression, a piece of her heart was falling off. It was becoming cold. And depending on the severity of it, guess what? Some of y'all had to go through this. As soon as you got grown, they got divorced. Or worse, mama didn't wait until they got divorced. Mama stepped out. But who felt that pain? Yeah, your dad did. But you felt it the most. Because you felt that your dad was being betrayed. See, truth is like a coin. There's two sides. But see, your higher power sees it all. You can't lie to yourself. Denial only goes but so far. Don't you owe it to yourself to be happy? You can't do that until you start clearing away the things that are holding you back. And I'm going to go there a little further for you, my kings. You might be going, this may be you. You know you had a good woman. Notice I said had. You know how Jay-Z coined that phrase, when a good girl goes bad, she's gone forever? That's a bunch of crap. She ain't gone forever. She's just gone from you. But guess what? When you start to work on yourself, cut the bull crap out, put your higher power first to guide you to heal those things, which will take time. Because look, it takes time for someone to get to a point to step out. And if you didn't know this, my kings, a woman won't step out of a relationship she's currently in. Even if she has a child by you, she won't do that. She'll only do it if there's something emotionally lacking and someone is willing to give it. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Is it unfair? You're damn right it is. But what you need to do is be a man and turn around and work on those same things. And I guarantee it, 9 times out of 10, you done heard it before. So who's blocking your progression? You are. And that's why some of you aren't married. Remember that? For some of you that have not seen the video, I got a video I did out maybe a couple weeks ago, almost a month ago, called "Well, He Took Her, She Was Never Mine. Why Are You Not Married?" For my kings, if you've never seen that, I highly encourage it. Because guess what? Some of you are in relationships right now, but you're still in love with them. You're doing it too, my queens. And this is how you know. The men that are sniffing under your skirt, I guarantee all have characteristics of the one. I guarantee it. So why settle for a substitute when you can have the original? But if he's not trying to grow with you, you must grow on your own. And if you have children, does not mean that the responsibility stops. You know how that phrase goes, it takes a village to raise a child? It is very evident now. That is why our children are responding the way they are now. Because the parental role has been substituted by the TV, by that game control, and then you wonder why you can't relate to them. Because you know what's happening? Let me tell you what's happening. It's indoctrinating their minds to become introverted. That's why social media is so prominent. That's why it has such an impact on our society. Because guess what? You can be anybody you want to be in a computer screen, in a console. And a lot of people will tell you they feel themselves when they're in that world. That's why when you see people, they got smartphones, but they don't use them. They text. Personally, I think that's the most disrespectful thing you can do to a person, is texting. Now, I understand you might got some things that you might want to do, and you're in the midst of something, you got to shoot something. Okay, there's time and place for everything. But if you have a means of communicating with another person, and that door is open, why aren't you utilizing that? Don't you know that's the ultimate disrespect that you can do by saying, well, you know what, I'm going to just shoot these words out on the screen. Because basically what you're conveying is, emotionally, I don't have a connection with you, but I will communicate with you. And that is why a lot of women have found out that they are in sexual relationships with people that don't even like them. can't stand him. And then you wonder why he's not adding up to your hopes and dreams, because you attracted the same things that are found within your spirit. Why are you doing yourself a disservice, my queen? Stop doing that. Stop. That is why some extremes you have women that say there's no good men out there, but you're differentiating from boys. Come on, can't you see the differential? You're not going to find what you seek in a boy. I don't care what age he is. I don't care what possessions he has. Because guess what? When the plenty runs out, what do you have? The person. And that is why so many people are going through problems with their intimacy. Why? Because there's no form. I told a person the other day. I told a person today. I'm gonna put this out there. That you know what the most purest form of intimacy is? No, my kings, it's not because you having sex. No. The purest form of intimacy that you will have with anybody is communication, but it is shored up. The foundation is transparency. Some of you don't even really know the person you're with, but you're sleeping with them. Why? Because they don't care. You're serving a purpose. You're a prop. I know there's a king right now saying, man, I don't want to hear all that. She give me what I want, I keep it moving. But what you fail to realize, because of your ignorance, that, no, my kings, you are serving a means to an end. She has an itch, you're going to scratch it, and when she's done with you, she's going to replace you. So what you need to look at is, what is it about you that she doesn't value? Because the value should not be found between your legs. So, we're talking legacy here. If God was to call you home today, what would your legacy be? Oh, he was just out there knocking them down. She was there giving it up like the gingerbread man making bread. She was giving it out. You'll never get a ring that way. You'll never be at peace, because you will never be able to quench that thirst. And more importantly, you will never be able to embrace the one that is supposed to help cultivate who you are destined to be. But if they're not spiritually grounded, they can never tell you the truth. They can never tell you the truth. That's why manipulation, control, and condemnation runs rampant. Why? Because they don't even have it in themselves. That's why women, you see it in these relationships. As soon as you step out the gray area and you want to focus on yourself, he wants to yank your ass back and say, no, play your position. Come on now. You see the signs? If the person that is with you right now is calling out of your name, heed my words. It will get physical, because they don't respect you. But more importantly, they don't respect you because you're not respecting yourself. But here's a light at the end of the tunnel. When you start respecting yourself, when you start doing the work, your life will slowly but surely become healed. All those things that were broken, all those things that were taken away will be made new. They will. I'm here to tell you that, y'all. When I shared you guys the story of my Jeep, if someone had told me that 4 weeks ago, I would have said, well, that's nice. But not to focus on the material. One of my greatest joys was driving my Jeep, but I had to go through my spiritual storm, and I lost it. The engine went. I couldn't drive. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And I was forced to look at my life. Now, let me tell you something. For those who have never met me, if I put my mind to something, you can write the check. It's going to get done. But I'm not going to compromise myself to possess it. That is why I always put emphasis on discernment. So when I hear people say, well, I was with Manny, and I was with Jack, and I was with Leroy, and I was with Stan, and I'm saying, well, you know, you're putting a lot of wear and tear on your body to people that will never stand the test of time. I gotta question why you do what you do. But it's not my place to judge you. It's not. You have free will. I know I'm talking to somebody. So I'm going to bring this back home. My king, if you got some seeds, if you got kids in your life and you ain't in them, the longer that you stay out of your children's life, the longer you're going to struggle in yours. You have a responsibility as their father to teach them right. Do you understand that? Why do you think that you see these talk shows out here and it plays out the same way? The little girl grows up, there's no love in the house, so she goes out just outside, and the first person that gives her attention, she turns around and gives all she has, and that's her body. And she goes through this cycle that constantly tears her down, and she becomes numb, then she becomes cold, and then she starts to think like a man and become primal and predatorial. And sometimes there's lineage, there's children from this. But mama's still hurting. Mama still wants to feel love. Mom still wants to feel treasured. But she's wondering when her Prince Charming is going to come. Well, I'm here to tell you this. Until mama can start loving herself, and mama take ownership in her choices, and learn from those choices, the one cannot find her. He can't come into her life because it's his discernment that is going to guide his steps. I know I'm talking to you. That's why the men that come in your life don't stick around after the playtime is over. Why? Because they are addicted to the chase. Just like a lion in the Serengeti, it sees its prey. It will use whatever taxes and whatever the tactic is to conquer, to feed. And after the feeding is done, it moves on. You're not the prey. You're the prize. But my kings, I know somebody's saying, well, Youre, I'm a good dude. But I always attract these bad women because they have the same attributes that are found in your heart. No, you might not be a bad dude, but you make bad choices. You got to own that, brother. You got to own it. You're not loving yourself, and I guarantee you 9 times out of 10, it was something or someone in your past, in your childhood, that you emulated in your adult steps. Come on, man. How's that working out? It ain't working out for you now, is it? Because that's not the way. That's not what's intended. But if you're taking a position where you hating, and here's a kicker, because I've been running my mouth long enough. If you are a father and have the availability to be in your child's life, and you choose not, my brother, I'm here to tell you, you're going to atone for that one. God forbid that child grow up and don't want to have nothing to do with you. You should be losing a lot of sleep because you ain't living to your purpose, and your purpose is to be a father. And if you have had setbacks and you have fallen down, get up. Get up. Because if you get up and embrace who you are, in the long run, it will justify the means. You'll be able to validate the sacrifice intended, and it will make it so sweet. But you got to get real with yourself. I was out early this week, and I heard this cat just bad mouthing the mother of his child. And it was all stemming from his pride, because she had given up on him, and there's someone else that is making her happy. Let me tell you something. If it don't flow naturally, it's not meant for you to have. Did you hear what I said? Everything that is intended will be given when earned. But if it feels like you're pulling teeth, if it feels like a struggle, because it ain't yours. I don't care what it is. Person, materialism, doesn't matter. If it's meant for you to have, it will flow, brother. But it's your responsibility to cultivate it. That's what sustains it. Look at your environment. You got partners right now that go through women like shoes. And guess what? Half of them they can't stand. The other half they never liked. Why? Because they don't love themselves. So they're more like saying, well, you know what? I'm going to do my due with her. You might as well, it's just like a car. When the tire goes bad, you replace it. Well, guess what? Does it make the road even smoother? No, it don't. And when you realize it, you are giving aspects of yourself you can't get back. And that's time. Time, man. That's the most price. Oh, I'm so vivid right now. The most precious commodity that you will ever possess in your life is time, y'all. Time. Because there's somebody right now waking up and unfortunately getting the news that someone significant has passed. You can't get back yesterday, but you can make a difference today. What you waiting on? What are you waiting on? But I'm not saying this to judge y'all. I'm not. I'm saying love yourself. You deserve to be happy. Your environment is supposed to be harmonious. And if it's not, look at what is causing it. Sometimes you've got to close the door. Doesn't mean it's locked. But if it's needed for your growth, it justifies the means. But I know some people will settle. They'll be in the abyss and be like, I can't stand you. I can't stand you either. Oh, here you go. You want to be out? Then you file a divorce. And they never get divorced. What kind of crap is that? If you're not happy, do what you need to do purely so you can. Trust your higher power, y'all. Please. Each day that you don't is another blessing that should have gone to you, gone to someone else. That's why people come back in your life. They come back so you can validate the lessons learned. And some of you are that's going to be your challenge this year. There are things that were not said that have to come to pass. Have courage. I can't stress that, man. So stop bad-mouthing the mother of your child. Support her. And if she's made a decision to live her life and you're not in it, work on yourself. Work on how you communicate. And when divinely meant, God will bring you guys back together as parents. And if it's divinely meant, hey, they say second times are the best. But it doesn't matter if you're not grounded. You're just wasting each other's time. Because you can't keep somebody through physical intimacy. If there's no spiritual connect in there, you might as well be sleeping with a stranger. And that's not cool. Alright, y'all. I know I've said a lot, but I really believe that somebody needed to hear that. And I'm going to send this out to you. You know how to reach me. Daddy loves you. He loves you. As long as there's air in my lungs, Daddy's going to do what needs to be done. Alright, guys. As I always say, God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth because I discern through mine. I'm telling you, y'all, 2014 is going to be the year of renewal, harmony. Some of you guys are going to come into your own because you're finally trusting your spiritual essence. You're allowing Him to guide you. I'm telling you, it's worth it because it's you. Alright, y'all. You have a blessed and safe Martin Luther King weekend. I'm out.